Hello and welcome to Dimsy's Domain, and let's talk about Dai Shinkan. Let's talk about his possible motives which can be justified through the clues that we've been given so far in Dragon Ball Super. But before we do that, I want to direct you towards the video I did with Geekdom 101 talking about the angels in Dragon Ball Super, link in the description down below. In addition to the fact that I also done another video with Geekdom 101 talking about Dai Shinkan and Zeno, and we had a little discussion that's on his channel right now. And also check out the videos where I spoke about Zeno. 3 videos in total. The first one talking about the lonely King Zeno. The second one with Kwaman's Land, a Zeno versus Zeno scenario. And finally a video talking about a possible evil Zeno and the return of Zamasu. It's a theory. It's going to come out one day after the publishing of this video right here. But let's go on to the Grand Priest and what his possible motives can be. Now, when I spoke with Geekdom 101 about the angels in Dragon Ball Super, we spoke about the fact that if you look at the halos, this is one little thing which I noticed, where if you look at the halos around Vados and Whis' neck, although it's not too obvious or prevalent, but in my head I thought to myself that the halos around Whis and Vados' neck kind of resemble shackles, as you saw slaves back in the day, metal shackles around their neck to show they're their own person but they're not their own person. At the end of the day, their destinies are linked to someone else's, and this is even more obvious to me because of the revelation that first that we know that the Hakaioshin and the Kaioshin are connected. If the Hakaioshin dies, the Kaioshin dies, and vice versa. But we also found out that if the Hakaioshin, meaning the god of destruction, he dies, then the angel then goes into some sort of stasis or inactivity. He just freezes, essentially becoming useless. And this is really funny because from the Kaioshin, the Hakaioshin and the angel is the strongest, followed by the Hakaioshin, and then followed by, of course, the Kaioshin. But they're so interconnected and they have their weaknesses through each other. So from that, instantly the angel is a slave to both other constituents, and also those two are slaves to each other as well. So they're all interconnected, they're equally vulnerable no matter how strong that they may seem or they are in comparison to each other. Therefore they need to kind of watch their backs and watch each other's backs to keep each other safe. Now, the reason why people was getting a bit agitated, and the reason why I spoke with and done the discussion on Geekdom channel, is the fact that from the PV trailer, the little trailer where they hyped up the new manga arc, the Universal Survival arc, which is going to be covered first by the manga, was the fact that Dai Shinkan was portrayed very weirdly. You saw fishbowl eyes, he had this menace to the way he was drawn, and just his position in the poster. All of these things added up and kind of told me, you know what, I think Dai Shinkan is going to be a antagonist, but we don't know yet. So let's open the door for speculation, and let me tell you why and justify why Dai Shinkan would have a possible motive against all other creation and thus becoming an antagonist. So as I mentioned earlier, the angels are interconnected to the other constituent beings, and therefore it would only make sense for at least one of them to try and break the shackles and set themselves free from the other two, so they're not dependent on each other anymore. And this could justify them going rogue or doing something, and may justify evil acts to essentially have their own freedom. Well, what do we know about Dai Shinkan, the Grand Priest? Well, we assume that he is paired with Zeno, who is the Omni King, the king of all. And is he stronger than Zeno? Is still a bit up for debate. But from manga chapter 18 on page 3, Whis does say that in this world he is the strongest. There is no one stronger than Dai Shinkan. So when we said, oh, there's no one stronger in this world other than Dai Shinkan, who is the Grand Priest, you're thinking, okay, this realm, this world that Whis is speaking about must be Zeno's realm, the Omni King's realm. So is he the strongest? Is he then therefore stronger than the Omni King? Which is plausible from the pattern we've seen. Whis is stronger than Beerus and Champa is weaker than Vados, so it wouldn't be too surprising to know that Dai Shinkan is stronger than Zeno. Here's a quick question though, and a quick thought for later, that even though Dai Shinkan may be stronger than Zeno, is he stronger than 2 Zeno? Probably not, almost definitely not, but that is something to think about. So the point is, Dai Shinkan is the strongest probably in all of existence, if that is the case, whereby he's stronger than Zeno. Well, even if he isn't stronger than Zeno, he is more smarter, or he is more self-aware than Zeno, because Zeno does emit a childlike persona. Why the hell would you want to serve Zeno? Honestly, why on earth would you want to serve someone much weaker than you? With Whis and Vados, I understand, because they're still not at the top of the hierarchy. They're on the upper echelon. They're like 2/3 or so up, because there's the Omni King, there is, you assume, the 2 bodyguards, and of course Dai Shinkan, who are much stronger than Whis and Vados, probably even together. So a further justification is he wants to sever the ties from Zeno, who is probably a bumbling buffoon to him, probably bored of babysitting this stupid idiot, like this kid who just does what he wants, blows up universes, which is very annoying and troublesome and very actually savage and tyrannical, if anything. Another spanner in the works is that Dai Shinkan is the father of Whis and Vados. We have to wonder, and we're gonna probably find out in a few months or so, is he also the father of every single angel in the corresponding universe 1 through 12? Now, if that is the case, there is a possibility of having all the angels versus the rest of creation. There is that very strong possibility, but what I would expect is maybe the angels, if they do come to this scenario, or Dai Shinkan, is he puts the Hakaishins and the Kaishins on ice, so essentially he becomes indestructible. Very similar to how Zamasu eliminated everyone else during the Future Trunks arc, and thus there was no one else to challenge him except of course Zeno and then Goku, Vegeta and Future Trunks, who eventually beat him. But enough of that. I've kind of hit home the fact of maybe Dai Shinkan wants to sever his ties. Yes, we get that. But here's another thing which kind of convinces me that Dai Shinkan will have this motive, or he will definitely be the antagonist for this upcoming arc, this massive universe survival arc, whereby when we saw the Battle of Gods arc unfold, the main antagonist was the Hakaioshin, the god of destruction, and in this case it was Beerus. And then we had the god of destruction Champa arc, so once again focusing on the Hakaioshin. And then recently in the Future Trunks arc, they were focusing on the Kaioshin, and within that arc we had the bombshells and revelations about them being interconnected. Now look at it like this: Hakaioshin, Kaioshin. What's the other vital constituent part within the trilogy of these individual strong people? It's the angels. And this alone tells me that Dai Shinkan and the angels and their mythology and whatever backstory that they may contain is going to be the focal point, or the main focal point behind the whole tournament itself within this new universe survival arc. And when they explored each of these story points corresponding to the Hakaishin, Kaishin and hopefully the angel, they kind of did go quite deep when explaining or exploring the aspects and characteristics for each of these characters. Well, you're talking about Beerus. How is he complicated? Well, take Beerus and Champa as one. We had Beerus introduced, and just the fact that he is this, not playful, but he's a neutral antagonist. He's very scary, but at the same time he becomes a friend, and it's very similar to Champa, who is somewhat comic relief but extremely dangerous. The main point was the bond between the two brothers, and they kind of explored the relationship between the Hakaishins in general, how they're very impulsive, how they're very easily aggravated, and they don't make the smartest decisions. There was a lot of plot holes. Why did Champa gather the Super Dragon Balls beforehand if he's going to, for decades as well, if he's going to just chuck it away and put it on the line in terms of the Universe 6 vs Universe 7 tournament? Although you could say that it was just so that he could trespass in his brother's domain, in his brother's universe, and just egg him on in that sense. When we speak about the Kaioshin, that's very evident and clear. It should be very recent in your memories as well, whereby this Kaioshin doesn't want to be subjugated to the whims of the mortals. He doesn't want to be a servant to the mortals where he just looks after them. He finds them disgusting. He doesn't know why he's doing his job role as well. That's the key thing. Why is he in his job role? The Kaioshins are not doing any help. Essentially, they are sinners in the long run. Now, why wouldn't an angel combine both of them? We have the family ties regarding Dai Shinkan's relation between Vados and Whis, so there's some family aspect right there, so we may or may not have that explored. Secondly, why are the angels in those job positions specifically? Like literally they could just go off and do their own thing. They're so much stronger, so much more knowledgeable, more composed, and just wiser in general. They pride themselves on the neutrality. So what I could see Dai Shinkan doing is firstly sever his ties, secondly exercise his own form of justice, very similar to Zamasu, but I want Dai Shinkan to exercise his own interpretation of of what is neutral and what isn't. If he thinks, okay, this side is a bit high, let me just even the scales out, and this may or may not justify why each universe is being destroyed if the team representing the universe loses, which is quite morbid and grim, but I don't think that's going to happen. Maybe it might through the lesser universes, and that is kind of a cop-out. That's just Toei, Toriyama, whoever it may be, destroying a possible other universe that we could have explored and got a lot of plot and lore and just a story out of it. Anyway guys, this has been my video talking about Dai Shinkan's possible motivations and how he may or may not justify them. Please tell me in the comment section down below how you think he's going to justify them. Is he going to even be the bad guy? Check out the videos I mentioned earlier. Check out the video corresponding to this video on Geekdom 101's channel, which is talking about Dai Shinkan and Zeno in a more broader aspect. So like, share, comment, subscribe. You may now exit Dimsy's domain. Thank you and goodbye.